And then this week, today, I'm excited to have Jared, who's from Dental Warranty, and we're going to talk about what is a dental warranty, why have a dental warranty, explain how it works for the office. So first of all, Jared, thank you for joining me today.
You bet. Thanks for having me. It's
And
good
I
to
have
see
to
you
say,
again.
what's that?
So good to see you again.
I know. I was going to say, I have to see most of the time, if you guys go to a conference, the coolest booth, the most fun booth is usually dental warranty. So I have seen Jared dressed up as a superhero. Let's see, I've seen you, I don't know how many different costumes I've seen you in. So please make sure when we're back out in the real world at conferences that you check out dental warranty. And I have to also say, I have a fake background. So like I'm in my living room and it's not good enough that I have to put a fake background on, but look at his background. Like that's your house.
This is my house.
It
It's
looks
been
like a,
my permanent spot for
I,
a few months here.
and I see you have a friend behind you that took a nap. Who is that? Your dog
Oh,
there?
really? Yep, there she is. That's Gracie.
Gracie, there we go. Life at home on Zoom, right?
Yeah, she's my little partner.
Awesome. Well, what we're talking about today is I want to learn more about dental warranty and I want to share it with you guys because I have known of dental warranty for a couple of years. Jared knows I used to walk by and say, all my dentists warranty their work. Like, why would this is just, I don't understand what this is. It's just another, fly by night kind of concept. And then Jared set me down enough to explain it to me. And I love the concept of dental warranty. So before we talk about like how it plays into customer service and the patient experience, why don't you tell us, for those who are not familiar with your company, what it is that you guys do and the service that you provide?
Sure, you bet. So essentially, just like you said, every great dentist stands behind their work in some kind of way, right? It's just that ranges in a lot of different ways. It's broad. And so what we've done is we've come together and partnered with practices to be able to do that in a way that's way better for patients, it's way better for the practice. And so it creates a win-win scenario all around where you're taking that confidence, that peace of mind with your treatment, and you're expanding that beyond the walls of your practice so that no matter what happens, wherever your patients go, whatever life brings, they're good to go. And so it's a coverage plan, it's a protection plan that lasts now 6 years. So that's now one added year that we have recently stacked onto the program. And from the date of treatment forward, patients can come back in as long as they're taking care of some basic responsibilities. So keeping up with their hygiene appointments, and they'll come back in and they're retreated or repaired, whatever has happened, for no added cost. And then we've got a relationship with the practice that compensates them to do that up to that full original fee. So practice gets paid. They don't have to play the bank for the weird scenarios that can play out regardless of level or quality as a dentist. And then patients got that added layer of peace of mind that no matter what happens, this investment's protected. So all around, really good impact and effects in the practice, and most important is happy patients.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Again, I heard that the first time and I was like, yeah, okay, but we warranty our work. So give me some examples of where you've seen this really play out. I see two things. For my patients who
Mm-hmm.
come back to me, like that, I did the dentistry 3 or 4 years later, they've come back to me. How does the warranty help? And or patients maybe that have moved, that are no longer my patient, but they put a lot of money in their mouth. How does it work for that?
Right. So when a patient comes back in, I mean, the biggest thing is just a smooth, easy experience where you're not having to drill down and question, and then also look at, okay, what's the relationship? Are we going to do something? You don't have to make those decisions over and over again. One of the biggest things we hear from our practices, they just love the idea that it's consistent. They've established the expectations with the patients. They know what their part is, and you don't have to kind of roll in and out of, okay, what do we do now? Or what do we do this time? It's already set. And so that consistency is huge. You ask anybody in the world of high quality products and branding, the idea of a consistent experience, the way you designed it from that point forward, is hugely valuable. And so that's something you can now establish in the practice with your patients. So that consistency is big. And then when a patient moves or travels and can't come back to see you, there's a huge question mark, right? And so we again make it easy to where if they need to go to another dentist or even a specialist for say you need to have an implant now because you broke a crown off of the gum line. So that value of the coverage you had on a crown can be put towards that next level treatment, and we'll work with the new dentist to get the same type of benefit paid. So
Okay.
it's very flexible and covers things in a way that would be very difficult on your own.
So do patients warranty everything? Like, are we warranting a filling, or are we what is it that we warranty? How does that, what's typical that you see?
So all across the board, it's not uncommon for practices to come into our partnership and have an idea of very specifically what they want to offer it on.
Okay.
And so there's a couple of ways that we coach. Well, it's pretty much the same message, that you make it available to every patient at every eligible procedure. And so mostly because it's about consistency. Again, you don't have to go in and say, okay, do they want it? Do they not? It's just like any other treatment. Make the recommendation because it's going to be the best scenario for everybody, and let them decide if it's a valuable. It's very simple, and then you don't get into sort of selectively choosing what coverage should go on, because there's also the element of not only warranting high risk types of procedures, which is, we won't get into the huge detail about that, but long term, that's not something that makes for a viable partnership for either of us. So
Right. So you explained this to me, and if you can help us just understand, I had to figure out, well, how, as an office manager, how would this work in the flow? How am I kind of on the way out, sort of like Best Buy, and they're like, and you can add a warranty to this work, or is it part of the conversation? And then what's the benefit to the office besides the we know what to do, but is there a benefit to the office financially, or does it make sense? How does that work?
right. No, good question. So definitely part of the conversation throughout the process. Otherwise, you stand to lose a lot of the value that comes with this. So if you're offering it, what we kind of joke about is at the register, sort of, hey, do you want to cover that? You've already lost your opportunity. And so these are things that are very much like certain skills you learn in good case presentation, right? It's along the way, it's conversational, and it's including the information when it matters most. So this is very much a decision, part of the decision to go forward with the treatment. It's part of the entire experience. They know that, okay, I'm going to opt for the best thing that's for my health, and I know that it's also going to be protected. So that's a totally different thing than making the decision to move forward with treatment and then having a totally isolated decision of, do I want to protect this? It's
Right.
too disconnected. So
Right.
when you come on board with us, our success managers or coaches internally will work with your team to structure that in to your flow. And so from the very first types of introductions and orientations to your practice, all the way through basic verbal skills and things you can kind of drip throughout each patient visit, all the way to putting it on treatment plans. So a specific answer for you is that the protection plan actually goes on the treatment plan itself and is presented, and it's accepted as a part of the entire case.
Right.
Yep. And then all the way through recare and things to keep up with patients' engagement is a huge, huge value. So,
And so I'm going to talk about this in New Patient. So New Patient Accelerator, if you're watching this live on Facebook, it's coming up a week from Friday, and it's an all-day event. If you're watching this on our New Patient Accelerator, you're part of the 8-week program, and you're going back and watching about our sponsors. And one of the things that I talk about in the New Patient Accelerator is that our industry as a whole has been really focused on insurance too much. We are so insurance driven, where it's like down to the penny. This is how much your insurance is going to cover. And we need to change that mindset. And I think that mindset, am I saying mindset? And I think that dental warranty is part of that change. Like, we need to realize that our patients, we're not doing just what the insurance covers always. Many times, or we should be talking to them about what they need for their complete dental health, right? And they're investing in their mouth. And if they're putting, for some people, $2, $3, $4, $5,000, that's a lot of money to be putting in their mouth. And putting a protection on it makes sense. So it's a mindset that really, as an office and as a doctor and as a team, we need to change. And I'm sure, Jared, your coaches help with that mindset, along with Front Office Rocks, but just help with changing the way we look at dentistry, because we're not just buying a product, we're actually investing in ourselves.
Absolutely. That's huge. I mean, again, there's so much that we teach
Mhm.
and suggest that you'll hear exactly the same way from anybody who is suggesting some good practices for you when it comes to presenting treatment to patients. We don't deviate from that at all. And so you're spot on.
Yep. So, talk to me about one of the things you mentioned. I don't know if anybody caught it or not, but the patient keeps regular something. They have to do something to keep the warranty, right? So, for example,
Hmm.
in case you guys didn't notice, at the bottom of my name, not to go off on me for a second, but my name has changed. I'm Laura Nelson. This is my first live Laura Nelson. I got married last weekend. So, and with my wedding ring, not to point out my wedding ring, but just want to say, I got a warranty.
Woo-hoo!
I got a warranty and it has to go in every 6 months and it has to be checked. Now I get it cleaned and that's great and it's all pretty and shiny, but they have to check to make sure none of the diamonds are loose. That's part of the warranty program that we bought with the ring. So talk about that, Jared, and how that benefits not only the practice but the patient too.
Absolutely. So again, part of pulling this together into a solution that's a win for everybody, there are responsibilities on each part, right? We've got to make sure that the dentist is doing standard of care type of work. We've got to be sure that the patient is doing at least the minimum, their part to, make things reasonable when it comes to the environment in which treatment can last a certain amount of time. And so part of the protection plan is that the patient continues on the recare schedule that you prescribe, which on paper, which is part of the stuff we provide practices, the agreement with you and the patient, it's at least every 6 months with a 2-month grace period.
Okay.
So you're helping them keep up with a pretty regular routine and doing their part to keep their smile healthy. And so it's really great for engagement. It fills chairs, but it also is a good encouragement for patients to do the right thing for their health.
Right.
And so that's a big part of the picture as well.
So now you guys can see my office managers and front office team members why it took me a while to figure it out, but now I can see such a benefit to because we have that patient that calls in and we're like, are we going to fix this tooth or not? Are we going to give them a discount off of it? They haven't been in 3 years and now the tooth's broke. Is it on us? Is it on them? That's always a hard conversation. And then keeping our chairs filled and keeping our patients committed. And I love this, much like a membership program that they come in because patient experience can only happen when they're in the office. So if they don't show up and they get $5,000 of dentistry done and then don't take care of it, that's not necessarily a good reflection of your office. So Jared, give me a successful practice, somebody who's implemented this well. Just give me a kind of a best case scenarios of what you've seen some of your offices do for those who are like, all right, I get it, but like, would it really work for my practice? Give us a couple or thoughts on how you've seen it work really well for practices.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not uncommon to have practice come to us and say, okay, I kind of get it, kind of don't. I mean, we do this every day. And then we finally get that call back that's like, okay, I get it. 100% get it. It makes total sense to me. And even now, so in the midst of all the change and things that are happening, we're hearing more and more from our practices that patients are valuing that peace of mind when everything else is uncertain around. And this has sort of proven itself time and time again. In times of economic trial or uncertainty, there in every industry, there's usually an uptick in this type of protection plan on different investments. And so we're definitely seeing that and seeing practices come back with more and more reports of patients valuing that even more than ever before. They just want stable.
Yep.
And so that's something you can offer on top of everything else that you already provide. And it just takes it to a whole different level. Beyond that, I mean, there are financial benefits and gains on the front side. So since the practice is collecting all of this up front and you get to actually price what the coverage costs, most of our practices have a few points in there that they get to keep on the front end. So it's an additional revenue stream as well that you might want to consider as you have a lot of things on your plate right now between PPE and how to balance everything in and out in the whole insurance game. This is something that you can utilize as a huge tool to be able to do that in a way that is providing a whole different type of value that that maybe wasn't there before for your patients.
I agree. I agree. So, one thing we have to come out of this, the quarantine and COVID and all of the crazy, we were just talking about this, Jared and I, about a new norm. And I'm tired of hearing that, but I think there's a new norm. If we don't learn something from this, shame on us. And this is a great time for us to step back and look at our industry as a whole, look at our practices, look at what we offer our patients. It's a great time to work with our team, change some mentalities to get less insurance driven and get more focused on our patients, and understanding that offering our patients a warranty, it makes sense for you and for the patient. I mean, it really does. I talk about customer service and I talk about patient experience, and this is just one more thing. It's just one added benefit that you're priming. Give them a movie, offer them a membership program, and offer them a warranty. And, they're going to have security in you and your practice. So, Jared, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for being part of our new patient accelerator. I'm excited. Typically, we're together at events, but
Mhm.
this one will be virtual, but that's okay. We'll still have a lot of fun. So thank you again for being involved with us at the event.
Absolutely. So good to get involved again and to see it. We'll take what we can get. It's awesome to be
Exactly.
with here today.
Exactly. And if you have questions, write comments. We'll be monitoring the questions and answering any questions that you have. And if you're part of the New Patient Accelerator, you'll be able to, our coaches will get you in touch with Dental Warranty if you want to learn more, or if you have questions about anything we talked about. So thank you, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you at the next event. And thank you, Jared. And everybody have a super awesome day. Thanks, guys.